The P in your game plan for success is performance. There are 3 P's for performance: preparedness, perseverance, and playing the numbers. Preparedness means this: you've got to practice each and every day. You've got to master the basics. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. How many of you know that? He was cut from his high school basketball team. He went home. He ran in. He slammed his door. He was crying. His mother saw him. He ran upstairs. His mother went up later, and he was crying, and he was laying in his bed, and she said, "Michael, what happened?" And he said, "I got cut from the basketball team. So the coach said I wasn't big enough." And she said, "Michael, it's not the size of the player in the game." She said, "Michael, it's the size of the game in the player." She said, "You're going to have to practice. You're going to have to want to win. You're going to have to go out and do the things, but you can be a starter." And Michael Jordan went out and he started practicing. He practiced morning, he practiced noon, he practiced night. He was bouncing the basketball. They said through rain, through snow, they could hear him out practicing. His mother, at midnight sometimes, he would be out shooting the shot. He did make the high school basketball team the next year. He also went on to college at North Carolina. And his last year at North Carolina, they went to the championship game. In the final seconds of the game, the ball was passed to Michael. And as the clock was ticking down, Michael was dribbling the ball. And as he ran down the court, and as the clock was ticking out, he made the shot. The same shot he had made 1,000 times. And Michael went on to make many more game-winning shots. The same thing happened when he won his final championship game, the 6th NBA championship game that he won. As the clock was ticking down, they gave the ball to Michael. He went back to the basics. 1, 2, 3, dribble, shoot. And he made the shot. Some people say it's ironic. I say it has to do with practice. Winners develop the habit of doing the things that losers don't like to do. And they do it with repetition. They do it over and over again. 1, 2, 3. When I got into sales, I practiced over and over my presentation in front of a mirror. Thousands of times I went through it. I would study the other people. I would study the experts that were in the business, and I would practice my close, my presentation the same way that they did. If you want to go to the top, you've got to practice. You've got to master the basics. To practice, it takes discipline. If you were learning to dance and you didn't dance right the first time, you wouldn't quit dancing, would you? The more you dance, the better you would get at it. The more you do anything, the better you will get. To go to the top, it takes discipline. Think about this. Thomas Edison failed more than 9,000 times before he invented the light bulb. He did not count any of his failures as failures. He found out 9,000 things that didn't work. Sometimes it takes that. Sometimes you've got to step out in order to find out. Sometimes you've got to find out what don't work in order to find out what does work. Colonel Sanders. All of you know who Colonel Sanders was with Kentucky Fried Chicken. He was told no more than 1,000 times, but he still believed in that magic recipe. And today we've got Kentucky Fried Chickens all across the world. You've got to play the numbers. You've got to keep swinging. You've got to keep swinging the bat. You've got to adjust your swing every so often, but you've got to keep swinging. Babe Ruth hit more home runs than anyone has ever hit. But most people don't know he also had more strikeouts. But he kept swinging. As a matter of fact, they said he always went back to the dugout with a smile because he knew if he kept swinging, he was going to hit one out of the park. You've got to keep swinging. You've also got to know your averages. Sometimes you've got to make some improvements. Sometimes you've got to evaluate your situations in order to know what, like I said, you've got to find out what don't work sometimes to find out what does work. When something don't work, cross it off your list and keep moving forward. Keep persevering. Keep improving each and every day.